Good morning, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Coffee with Chris, the podcast in which I address your questions and concerns and share my life with you. If you have any topic that you'd like me to cover, make sure to comment down below and I'll get to it as soon as possible. I try to make an episode every single day, so your subject should be covered relatively soon. Thank you for joining in, and let's get started. So today I've got no questions or concerns to address, so it will be another sharing session. To those of you who are new here, I tend to just share things at random, and that's kind of the purpose of this channel, this whole podcast thing, because I never meant for this to be a podcast, you know? Never meant for it to be a professional thing. And I'm not going to make it a professional thing. I'm going to continue doing it the way that I've been doing it so far, which is to just kind of ramble, to just kind of be here. And that's because some people need, I know this from myself, from previous experience, that sometimes it's just nice to have, something to disturb the silence. Doesn't even need to make sense. Doesn't even need to be something you listen to. But just something that's there, something that breaks the silence. And that's what I'm trying to do. That's what I'm trying to be. So, today, let's talk about, yesterday. Because it was my birthday yesterday. And I went to do this VR thing with two of my classmates. And we actually had a lot of fun. But I'm also super sore. Because I ended up playing a lot of Beat Saber. I've never played it before, and I ended up completing one level on expert, but I only managed to do it once, and I think it was pure luck. Because, I tried several times after that, and I just couldn't. And I'll have you know, I tried a dozen times before that. I felt like the difference between hard mode and expert mode was very significant, whereas like easy, normal, and hard felt realistic. And then expert just jumped at you, and for fun I tried expert plus, and again there was just this huge gap because I couldn't even get started in expert plus, whereas in expert, even from the beginning, I managed to get relatively far. There was just a couple of parts throughout the song that tripped me up every now and then. But it was so much fun. And if not for the fact that I would only play it, for a few weeks maybe, I would definitely buy one for myself. But I'll wait until the technology is a little cheaper, perhaps, but also more comfortable. Right now, it's a very big thing, and I know that it's far away, and I probably will end up buying a regular headset at some point. But I want that to be when I have money to spare. Whereas right now, I'd have to save up for it. And if I'm to save up for it, I'd want it to be something that lives up to my standards. Oh, that sounds so wrong. Not really my standards, but more so, those dreams of what it's supposed to be like. Anyway, that's still very far away, though, I think Apple has recently announced some augmented reality glasses and stuff. I mean, we're definitely getting there. We're moving further and further towards mainstream. I like that. That's cool. I'm excited for that. I'm definitely going to end up being one of those people that gets possibly a little too absorbed in it. Like, once we get true virtual reality, which we probably won't get in my lifetime, but here's to hoping, right? I guess I'll just be one of those people that gets lost in it. And that is one of the reasons that I want to be able to sustain myself without working. That's to say, through investments and passive incomes in general. And I'm working towards that. I really am. I failed at getting my domains and stuff set up yesterday, though, because I tried to sign up for an account with Proton Mail, and I realized that the account name I wanted was taken. Well, the account name was supposed to match the domain names, so that I had, let's just say, domain at proton.me. And then I would have, let's say, Chris at domain ending. so that there would be a match. But I guess that was not to be the case. And that has led me to think maybe I should rebrand. Maybe I should find something entirely different. Or maybe I should go with a different username just. I mean, it could be that simple. Because right now my idea is to have like all of these domain endings, but are they really necessary? Because for example, wouldn't it be better to have a support email not at a .support domain, but at the main domain, so it's support@main domain, rather than my name at... But then again, I like to think about the future too. And in the future, there might be several people working in support. And so it would be nice to be able to give them each their own email. So you have Diane at this support mail. You have Torkil. I don't know. I can't come up with names on the spot. But so you have different names. And that's kind of the reason that I want the .support domain name. So I'm a little uncertain about that. But it's not like that's the most important thing, actually. Because I can still get started without it. I just wanted to get it done yesterday. But I think I'll just get started with the mood board instead. I'll start working my way from there. Because I do need a mood board and a wireframe and all these things before I even start building the app to begin with. And so, is there any point to getting the domain names right now? No, not really. Let's do everything else. Let's do things in the proper order, so to speak. And then 3 months from now, this project will be live. And hopefully I'll be able to recruit my classmates. It's not the only project I have in mind. I have another project as well. And I actually have a third project, though it's not fully thought out. The third project is just a general idea. And that's all fine, because, you know, the first two are actually really, really big. And yeah, so I'm just going to stick to the first one, build that one. And then once that is supporting itself, I guess, well, not really supporting itself per se, but more so once it's live enough that it's mostly bug fixes and then maybe adding a new feature every now and then. That's when I'll start working on the other one. And it's not actually that far away. I can do this in a relatively short amount of time. My primary hurdle is building for multiple screen sizes and platforms. Screen sizes is one thing, although I'm still new to responsive design in Flutter, so not sure how that'll go. But that's the benefit of designing it first, is that I just need to figure out how to properly use the layout builder, and then I can build all of my interfaces because I already know what they're going to look like. I won't have to wonder, oh, what happens to the floating action button on large screens? Because maybe it just disappears. Maybe it stays. I don't know, but something happens to it, right? And I'll know what happens to it. So when I set up the layout builder, I can build individual layouts and then just share the components that I know will need to be shared. It's going to make things so much easier for me. And that's what this design education will allow me to do. And you know what? I can't help but think, because I've been very nervous about the exam. I really have. But you know, I've gotten so good. Am I the best? Perhaps not. But I'm really, really good. And I put a lot of work into this. I did personas, moodboard, style tile, wireframe. I programmed the whole thing. I did testing. I did everything. I even wrote the report. And I suck at writing reports. I put in so much work. If they fail me, that would mean most of class should fail. I'm not saying that I'll necessarily get an A, because I'm not the best at everything. I'm the best at some things and I'm the worst at other things, but I am above average when you put it all together. And so there are people in class better than me, definitely. And they'll get A's. I probably won't, but I'll at least get a C or a D. If they fail me, that would mean half of class would have to fail. And I'm not going to fail on a technicality because I made sure that my technicalities were fixed, you know. That means when I get in there, as long as I remain myself and just have the confidence, because I am a very confident person in general, though I also have a lot of mistrust for myself. It's a weird mixture. Well, I mean, I can easily pass this exam. I don't have to be nervous, because they're not going to fail everybody. I'm going to go in there and I'm going to get a nice C, and I'm going to be happy with that because I passed. And passing means that I get to go to Canada for 2 months. It means that I get to work on my application for 2 months. Like, there is a lot of stuff that's going to go right this summer. But the reason I'm nervous is that it's very dependent on the exam. But I will pass the exam because I did a good job. I did a really good job. And I can be proud, and I am proud. I'm actually really proud of the result. I tend to not finish things. I'm that kind of person. But I finished this. And it only took me a month. I've spent longer on things that ended up looking and being worse. It's so weird, really. But that's the thing. I think that's one of the things that stimulates me about this education is that we do multiple things. We do personas, mood boards, research, style tiles, style guides at some point, programming in different languages, and it's not really programming, but that's another matter. That's another discussion, right? Like there's always something different going on. It's not just sitting down and doing it in code. And I think that's what helps me. That's what makes it possible for me to do these projects. And it's what's going to make it possible for me to complete my app too, to finally finish my app. You know, it's been a year since I got back into programming. And I have nothing really to show for it. Yeah, I have a few apps. I do. But it's nothing impressive, you know? And then again, one of them it actually is pretty impressive, and another one may not look impressive, but when you think about the code behind it, it is kind of impressive. So I'm just degrading myself unnecessarily. Though the point I'm trying to make is that I don't have something that I'm moving forward with at this point. I'm just stuck. I haven't been doing anything in code for a long time. Sure, I've used it here and there, but I haven't built the things that I want to build. Because there are things that I want to build. There is something that I've built that I'm currently using every single day. Right? And that is that's the app that I'm going to develop over summer. So developing that is really important to me. And it may be a silly pipe dream, but I honestly believe that I'll be able to recruit my classmates. I believe that once they see what I've built over summer and realize that I only expect gradual work from them, they'll be willing to help me out. Because it's at the promise of a possible position in the future. I mean, they could help me lead this thing. They could be bosses, managers, whatever they want to be, really. They just help me build this, especially because I know that one of my classmates in particular would be an incredible manager. And that's what I want to hire her for. I want her to be the future manager of my company. And I want the other one to be my little worker bee. I want her to be in charge of the other worker bees, really. So more like a team leader, a project leader. So I'm the boss, we've got a manager, and we've got a team leader. And then we hire a bunch of people, though not the people in my class. And the reason that we don't have the people in my class, they're not motivated, they're not dedicated, they don't work. And it sucks. But these two, they do. And I want them. I want them with me. And that's another reason to do it over summer, so that I can come back and say, look, I used my summer to do this. And I need your help to continue doing this. Together we can make this great. Will you make it great with me? And hopefully they'll say yes. I firmly believe that if they say no, it lowers the chance of me succeeding significantly. Because I need these people's help, really. Anyway, I'm just rambling right now, so it's about time for me to go. Thank you for listening. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye now.